This is always your WW3 news of a Tuesday morning. It seemed to have rained during the night. Hopefully won't be so bloody hot as it was like yesterday and a few days before. Now, the European Commission, they had a bit of a problem with their climate system. And they developed a fault, probably overload of the system itself. Couldn't cope. The extra air conditioning inside that building. The most funny thing is, where the offices of the Commission itself, European Commission, I think it's from the 7th floor and upwards, the climate and air conditioning systems work. But from the 7th floor and downwards, they switched it off. That's where the 3,000 employees of the European Union work and obviously protest. You know, it's a bit like a socialist and Marxist behaviour, basically. Those in high in power have privileges, and you must be miserable and poor. This is what it's all about. It's a form of communism, which is, not many people seem to realise and see it. We see this type of ideology in our society, which is practically ruining it. And I think in Europe, there's always been a series of local blackouts on a small scale regarding various cities. Whether it's due to an overload of demand as for electricity due to the hot weather, because everyone switches on their air conditioning systems and fans. Or is it a fact, even when people were plugging their electric cars to charge them at home? And there are some places which there was, I think Milan and Livorno, there were places which a few hours were left without electricity. You just imagine, a whole society on four wheels and using an electric car. When it comes this widespread blackouts, because due to the demand, to protect the system, they have this so-called shutdown option. It's basically what happened in 2003 in what you would call it in Europe. They said due to some main pylon routes of the grid that went down, and that's why half of Europe went down with it, and it took a day or two to restore electrical energy throughout Europe. Well, this goes to show how vulnerable it is, and not just an overload or an outage of electricity due to high demand in certain parts of the year. It goes to show the infrastructure itself is fragile. It's out of date. Then there are people who I know, my electric company says they got the state-of-the-art grid. No, God knows how old it is. And obviously when they do maintenance work, they have to replace some hardware, some substation they probably do. That's very rare, because they're very expensive pieces of hardware that do not make these in Europe. It's all made in China. And especially a blackout in in this hot weather, you know. It could fuel, you know, social tensions with all the problems we have in society. You know, the invasion, immigration out of control. I just heard, was it the other day, in the United Kingdom, they want more of these so-called refugees to bring to house them in Britain. The thing is, where you're going to find the money to house them. Seeing most of the American, most of the European economy is just absolutely going down the bulk. Less people work, less tax revenue. You know, we are governed by lunatics, and the fact is, most of the part are non-elected officials, and respective parliaments in Europe, a certain way we had to elect them. Whether it's the left or right politicians, sincerely I do not trust, because they are part of the whole system anyway. So we're part from from a European Union, European Council, right to the politicians. It's all part of the agenda, the shit show they put on. You know, the distraction, leading a donkey with a carrot on the fishing rod in the same direction is more or less the same thing.